Hi guys, this is a new iPower clip and today we're gonna talk about content control on sites like YouTube, for example. My name is Tanya and this is the crew. This is Sharon, Dean,
hey,
Reese, and Ian.
Hey guys.
And I guess Reese is gonna start again.
Restart.
Yeah, the reason why talking about the way that video sites like YouTube manage their content and manage the rating and flagging of videos, etc., to keep the undesirable stuff from reaching children and all that, is because we were featured in the news a few days ago on BBC as an example of why YouTube should be more strict in controlling their content and kick out the stuff that's not desirable.
Yeah, I believe they said YouTube should do a better job at controlling their content for children, and they showed a short clip of us, of our videos, of their theme videos, and then they showed a short clip of a guy throwing frisbees at a dog. Like, this is where it should be, not like some guy with a chick on his lap and a half-naked guy behind him that he calls his boyfriend.
Yeah, but I heard they just showed a Athene sitting there with his bitch and with Fury, so I don't get what the problem is actually.
They want everyone to just throw frisbees with their dog.
Right.
Can't we all just throw frisbees with our dogs and put clips of that online? I guess that's the point.
What is offensive about Athene sitting there? I mean,
I'm not exactly sure what they showed. Someone informed us on YouTube about it. I sent him back a message to check exactly what they showed. But from what I know, they indeed just showed, just Tanya sitting on Sharon's lap, and that's pretty much it. I'm not sure. Of course,
I don't really know why they are making a big issue about that and using our content, our clips, as being inappropriate, because, well, maybe we're not very objective to say, but I don't think our content is that inappropriate. Maybe the language is.
maybe.
But if you put like BBC on and you see like a movie where they're shooting the shit out of people, I mean, I think that's a lot more inappropriate than me talking about pooning noobs in game. I mean, yeah, well, I'm not killing people or whatever.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, it depends from channel to channel though, because BBC, for example, is very they are very, very strict on what they can show and what they can't show.
I think one of the reasons that I think it's kind of a holy war against those video websites, stuff on the internet, because they're actually dragging all the audience from mainstream TV, and they're actually trying to stop that by implementing laws and all that crap, and then go to parliaments, people from the parliament that have no clue what the internet is. I mean,
not just
they're gonna decide.
I mean, they're also using fear. What they're trying to do is, if they want to take down net neutrality in the long run, if they want to, implant the idea into people's head that freedom on the internet the way it is now is a bad thing, the first thing they should be doing is saying that the internet is bad for children and put the fear of God into the parents, Like, now they're saying, look at YouTube, your children are probably on there right now watching this, and they show like, watching us.
Watching us.
Well, at least we're popular,
Yeah, we're popular now. Yeah, we come even in BBC.
Now the BBC crowd knows us.
I don't only poon the entire internet, I also poon the entire TV world. Hey.
But maybe this is the start of, the campaign against net neutrality.
Well, what I hope is that YouTube is not gonna give in those empty threats, because the thing is that the problem is that where do you draw the line? Because if she can't sit next to me, then is this clip also inappropriate? You can ask yourself.
No, only if I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if it's language, I mean, if it's just strong language that's inappropriate.
Yeah, then sexy.
Any movie on some action or sci-fi channel, you see, a lot of movies these days feature strong language, violence, even sex. I mean, you go to the movies, you see it on TV. What's inappropriate? Where do you draw the line? And how are we so much worse than what kids see every day? That's I think it's a valid question.
What do you think, Reese?
Well, I think it's a really, really difficult discussion, because if you start limiting that, then indeed, whether it's intended that way or not, you are starting the the war on net neutrality. Because how far do you go? Do you tell YouTube to start limiting your content, start making it completely restricted, just as narrow as, for example, the BBC keeps it? And where do you draw the line? Do you also go to gaming sites? Do you go to IGN and tell them you can't show clips of GTA 4? because you know people can't watch game reviews anymore on your site because you know those contain the violence that's in the games and stuff like that. How far do you draw it? And if you go into that direction, then indeed you are starting to lock the internet down and starting to you know have a great path to really pave the way to that paves the way to a completely restricted internet where
Yeah, and also just the mainstream TV watching crowd doesn't even, I mean, they don't even think about that stuff. It's just, they just get an impression like the internet is, you know, not a place that I want my kids to visit.
Yeah, exactly. It's ideal on a psychological level as well. You can just communicate it via the press, via the media, via the news, and say like, oh, you know, look, the internet is really, really bad. It's full of a theme.
Thing including noobs in game.
It does look a lot like it's very likely that this is just a knee-jerk reaction to the fact like, fuck, you know, our viewer counts are going down and we see all these people, you know, we're losing all these people as the internet becomes more of a popular medium. What do we do? What do we do? You know, YouTube, they're bad, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a very likely strategy to do it because, to be honest, why has it never been brought up and just now with all the net neutrality thingy inside? We told you already in a previous clip that they're gonna market it in a way that they're gonna push fear through the throat of parents like pedophiles and all that stuff. Your kids, protect your kids, and they are doing it after we told you guys that they were going to do it. So our sources are not talking crap. It's really and that's just the first step. It's gonna become worse and worse and worse, and in the end it's like they're just gonna change to that new model and everybody's gonna be like, yeah, I feel a lot safer now. Yeah, my kids can go surf and yeah, they cannot go to get kidnapped through the internet or something stupid like that. Yeah. I think it's really unbelievable, but I'm pretty sure that with the mentality of the interneters, shit like that, they won't be able to pull it off in 10 years or 15 years with mainstream anymore, because people are just getting smarter and smarter, because people are more independent. Now with the TV pushing all the shit through your throat, they can tell you whatever they want, all kind of lies. People just take it as a truth. But now with the internet, people can check other facts. They can look it up. They are a lot more skeptical, and that's one of the key elements for a better society, in my opinion. And but the thing is that at the moment we are really in a very how do you say it, viral, in a very vital, very vital moment, because at the moment the mainstream is not an internet user and it's not how do you say it, a geek or whatever, but now all the young people become geeks. But by doing this, by actually starting to censor the internet, by destroying net neutrality, you just pull back the clock and you make everybody a sheep again. And that's really, I really hope that people are gonna stand up against this, because it's really fucked up.
Okay, on to the video replies. First reply is from Darkside Roller Chick, who had a lot of interesting things to say, but this one specific thing I think is something we should mention.
Science is just another philosophy. Sorry to bring you down, but science is basically the religion that we all participate in right now.
Yeah, I think in one way or another you're right that science is a philosophy, but the thing is with science is that it's most likely the philosophy that is most likely to be the one you can rely on, since it's based on facts, and you can still question yourself whether facts are theoretical, philosophical, whatever, if it's real or not. But when it comes to practical your own life, then yeah, it's better to rely on science than on philosophy when it comes to, for example, building a house or whatever, or because if you're gonna start meditating to summon a house or whatever, it's not gonna appear or something. So I think science is is in some way a more to
you could say that
practical philosophy.
More practical philosophy. But on the other hand, it's extremely important that people don't overrate science, because a lot of the science that you hear is actually also just theoretical. Theoretical, because a lot of stuff the scientists themselves don't even know. And there's also a lot of stuff that scientists under themselves don't agree with.
You can't really take science as the absolute truth, and you can't really use it in religious debates either. You can't go like, you know, science hasn't proven that God exists, so you can't be religious, it's wrong. You know, definitely in that sense, you can definitely say that science is indeed another form of philosophy, even though that it's the only one with actual, you know, serious practical uses that are applied everywhere. Next is from Catspit 1170. Also had a lot of interesting things to say. It went really in depth about how time and space are intertwined, and it's so hard to, you know, take them both separate as separate concepts and stuff. Really interesting video. You guys can check it out. It's a response on the previous iPower video. But we're not going to go in depth about that because then we'll be talking for hours. He did make a very good point.
Let me make a suggestion that oftentimes of late you guys have been making disclaimers about you know, the views and opinions offered in this video clip are not necessarily those of iPower, they're those of us as individuals. And that's fine, that's great. But maybe what you need to do is kind of word that out and have it run at the end of every iPower clip that, you know, yeah, you know, one of those cliche disclaimers that you see on television and such. You know, the views and opinions that are offered in this commentary are not necessarily those of iPower. You know, that kind of thing. And let that run at the end of your clips and try to maybe distance your opinions from those of the entity of iPower. That way you guys can talk about whatever you want in the clip and not have to speak that disclaimer every single time.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea. We should definitely do that indeed, and yeah, I think we'll start doing that.
Yeah, we can do it in annotation or something.
Oh, that we can do
too. So people
too.
can click it off when they don't like it.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, next one is Indie Dork.
Descartes came up with this saying, "I think, therefore I am." I'm sure all of you out there heard it. It's actually to prove that since you think that you have a mind, that there is a mind. No. Since you can doubt that you have a mind, you have a mind, because to doubt that you have a mind, you must have a mind to doubt.
When you say "I think, so I am," the moment you said the sentence, you actually, when does it apply? That's the thing. You cannot, the thing is, you cannot split experience with time. You always have to put it in a time-space interval. When you don't do that, you do not exist. And the thing is that what exists? Is it the moment before now, or is the moment after now, or is it now? You could just say, yeah, now exists. But then when you say "I think, so I am," when does that concept, when does that theory, when does it rely to be the truth? Because the moment you said it, it's already over, and you're already building on a moment that is already over. So in reality, what are you talking about? Now? I mean, it's very...
Actually, Catspit made a very interesting point there. He talked about how actually everything exists all at once, all the time. And because you are a being that just experiences, you're limited in interpreting that. You can't experience everything all at once. So what happens is, the way that you can interpret everything is linear, and you draw a line between all the possible experiences, and that's how you interpret what's going on. But in reality, everything's going on at the same time.
In reality, well, reality is already... The thing is, can reality exist when you take away time? And what exists? It's what's happening now, right? What's happening yesterday already over. What's happening yesterday is only in your memory, and your memory could be fake. Let's say you got cloned. What's your memory worth? If you get it exactly cloned, who are you when they say you're the copy? Who were you yesterday? You didn't exist yesterday. So, just the idea that the memories are for real, there is already where you put a step in the wrong direction, because memories are just a creation on the moment, and that moment is already over when you talk about it. So it's really complicated. So in my opinion, when you say I am, so I think. No,
I think so I am.
I think so I am. Just applying the sentence is based on a memory that is already over. That's how easy it is, in my opinion. So when is it true? In 1,000 years, when there's no humans on Earth, is it still true? I mean, what's the reality? I mean, yeah, I think it's not I think it's not so easy to say I think so I am, because just thinking is already based on time which doesn't exist. So yeah, I just say you can be sure. You can be sure. Even I know it's a very popular saying and it's very trendy, but I don't think it's an absolute truth. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Innie Dork also went on to talk about something about, I don't quite remember, monsters and you know, how the Egyptians and stuff do people with dog hits and things. I don't quite remember exactly, sorry, but I will say that when you go to the iPower site, you can watch all the iPower videos, and beneath them you can also always see all the video responses. So that means that if you want to make a response to one of our videos, your response will automatically also be featured on the iPower site. So, you know, people, if you got ideas, stuff, suggestions for clips, whatever, shoot, it will be featured on the site, and we may feature it in the next clip and talk about it if we have time for it.
Maybe we should say goodbye to Tanya.
Let's say goodbye to Tanya.
Let's say
Original.
goodbye to Tanya.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Tanya.
Bye, Tanya.
Bye, Tanya.
Bye, Tanya.
This is weird. Why are we doing?
Yeah, well,
Bye,
it's
Tanya.
already over.